Yeah, Duff is in there, and who is gonna win the dice?
I guess we'll have to wait and see by who goes first. I feel like Jessica's the sort of person that just wins the dice roll, you know.
And she lost the dice roll,
Oh, not
actually. So
today. I
we
was
are
wrong.
going with Sam activating the sarcophagus and instantly discarding the Fuvalos, trying to send to the grave a Horus card. I think this is some great cards. We have seen those cards back in the game with Crystron, but this time this is with another deck.
Yeah, that's probably what I would jump to because I know the Horus cards have been very popular in the Crystron deck. Wow, discarding a Draw and Lockbird there, that's the sign. I don't know what that's the sign of really, because Draw and Lockbird is a premium hand trap on your opponent's turn, but Sam deciding that he doesn't really need it. He'd rather make sure he can do what he wants to on his own turn.
Yeah, he wants to get his engine rolling, and he's going to be able to summon back his two Horus monsters, the Happy and the Amset, and then instantly going to the XYZ, I guess. So I guess it's going to be the Zombie Vampire, a really great one. It was great in Tier Elements, and it is still great here because you can get access to all your Malice cards, and you already see the GWCO6 in the graveyard.
I'd say that's gone a little better for Jessica there than Sam
Yeah,
hitting none of his engine pieces, whereas Jessica's got an Engraver and an Acheron.
he
Probably,
is going to summon back the Ash Blossom to
I
his
mean,
side.
yeah, we know he's not playing Fiendsters, but how funny would that be if he just took Engraver and was just like, thank you very much, let me make a
And
Requiem
there
right
is the
now.
normal summon. He is normal summoning the White Rabbit, and he's going to set the MTP07 right there. And this is a very interesting point because now he is able to go directly to the Link 3 monsters, which is a really important point for the Malice players.
Yeah, and looking at Jessica's deck lists, I'm looking and seeing like the main interruptions, or interaction, I suppose, going second are the Molcharmies, but I feel like at this point in time, if there was a Molcharmy, it probably would have been played. I think we've summoned from all the different zones, so maybe this means she's just going to be defenseless for this whole turn.
Yeah, totally. So we're gonna see where Sam is going. For now, he decided to go with the Lizardos. He just saw that he was already playing into Nibs, so he decided to go through the link to plays.
Yeah, it seems a little risky here when you could just go straight into the Link 3 and not have your trap for backup. But now, as you say, Nib might be a bit of an issue. Where to hit the field right now.
But now he's going to go to the Red Ransom, I guess, and get access to the field spell.
Sam, I just noticed something about his deck list. Maybe he's not playing the Ad Ignista cards, which have been pretty much universally included in Malice ever since they were released. It's quite an interesting choice.
It is very interesting, but as soon as we saw the Horus cards, we knew that it was very, very spicy.
Yeah, what do you think? Do you think this is like an attempt to make sure you have something to do under Lancia? That's kind of my feeling. Whenever I see people doing like funky things with Malice, it's like, just give me something.
Yeah,
If I
absolutely.
get
We've seen
Lancia.
that during the last format because players were starting playing the Finsmith cards with the Malice cards because they wanted to have something to do under Lancia. Now, with the addition of the Ignister cards, you still have something to do, but you have to get access to those cards. So we saw some players playing, for example, I Meet You, which is a great card to get access to the backup and then try to link climb. But here, he decided to have a totally different approach and get the Horus cards, which are very good into Mitsurugi as well, because they can just prevent being just destroyed, which is great, which is really great. But for now, he just got access to his Malice engine, and he's really happy with that. I'm really just wondering what he can do with all his engine, because yeah, of course, he has the Horus cards, but is he going to go to like Firewall, or is it going to be like more basic?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to think that given he's playing a couple of giving up some extra deck slots, then the pure Malice Enfield is going to be a little bit different. Not quite the sort of full Malice, but I'm not sure how tight the extra deck is. Maybe you can afford to give up a couple of slots to some different engines. So you can see he's playing 2 rank 8s to be accessed with the Horus cards. So he's giving up some standard Malice, maybe end board pieces.
Yeah, and I kind of think this is pretty hard to get some space because the extra deck, it seems like it is not tight at all. But indeed, if you want to add some cards, you have to give up on some flexibility in the extra deck. For example, like the Dark Charmer, which is really great in the mirror matchup, or you have some other stuff like the IP. So you have to decide whether you want to have some flexibility like that in the Link summons, or if you want to just get some XYZ.
I always feel like when you first build a deck and you look at some deck lists, you don't understand the importance of all of the extra deck cards, and you think, oh, there's loads of room. And then the more you play, the more you get attached to each individual extra deck card, and then you want to add in a new one, and you look at all of your friends, and you're like, I don't know which one I'm going to take out.
For example, the second Linguribo is, I think, very important, but there are some other cards like the Almirage. You know, Almirage, there are a lot of people who decided to cut it, but then they realized that they are playing a lot of hand traps, and those hand traps are pretty much useless to just extend and get your engine rolling.
Yeah, it's like getting used to living with a little luxury, like, oh, I have that second Linguribo if ever I need it, and then when you take it away, it feels difficult. I feel like Sam maybe missed a trick there, because it didn't look like he banished anything from Jessica's graveyard.
Yeah, nothing. There's still the
with the
Akiran in the
White Binder.
graveyard.
Yeah, because Akiron is the absolute premium banish target for the Memento deck, because Akiron itself can add back cards from the banish pile, but if the Akiron's banished, there's no way to add him back. He's just gone. None of the Mementos can bother to pick him up.
Absolutely, and then the White Binder becomes an absolute threat for Jessica. But here Sam decided not to banish the Akiron. Maybe he had another plan in his head. But we see that he's playing the Link 5, the Akkad. I think that's just going to be it, I guess.
Yeah,
He's going to set back the WCO6 to be able to summon back on the opponent's turn, setting another card. And that's just going to be it, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like normally you see Maliss do a little further than this.
So Jess will start her turn with 6 cards in hand and some engine in the graveyard already, because there is the Akiron and there is also the Finsmith Engraver.
Yeah, and what is that to start? There is the... I call him the horse.
Yeah, everyone's calling him the horse.
I struggle.
The Tatsu is right there, and it's a very good start, because of course the Tatsu is able to just destroy itself to be able to flesh a few Memento cards and to get everything pop off from that point. And it works, it's going through. There is no interruption for Sam. He's not banishing anything. So Jess is going to be able to send to the graveyard the sheep,
the Sleepy
and also
the
the Gaddock.
Yeah, the 1-2 combo. I feel like here again, you can sort of organize your chain links sometimes in such a way that banishing, you can end up banishing the graveyard effects that are triggered if you can somehow summon a White Binder on the same chain, but so I'm not going to go for that route, but it's a particularly nasty thing to do, I feel like, with the Maliss deck, get full use of all of your interruptions.
Oh, and there is the Call by the Grave. What a great interaction right there for Sam. This is a one-off, and it's coming clutch here. He's just going to answer, respond. This is a great one, because the sheep is very important in her strategy.
Yeah, without the sheep, you need some other way to get access to a fusion spell. And as well, like the sheep has the effect of fusion. It also has the effect when it's destroyed to send the fusion spell. So often, like, it's the way not only to get your first fusion, but sometimes it can be the way to get that Memento fusion in the grave and then banish it to search another one. So this might just cut off access completely unless Jess has the Memento fusion in hand directly.
Yeah, and Jess is playing Memento, but Sam has momentum right there.
You were saving that one, weren't you?
Yeah, totally. I thought about it a few seconds, yeah.
Getting in the shower this morning, all of the...
Oh, and she has the fusion spell. And this is really important, because she is going to be able to dodge the Call by the Grave. Remember, she was able to destroy her own cards, so the fusion will be able to shuffle back from the graveyard as well.
But yeah, it's funny how much you can dodge with the fusion spell. Everyone thinks, oh, you know, you can dodge the field. But no, you can dodge things on the grave too.
Unfortunately for her, Sam decided to use the Omni-Negate of Akkad on this one. and this is a huge one.
Yeah, the Acheron can be destroyed to pick up the Sleepy again, but because the Sleepy's already been targeted by Called by the Grave, you're not going to be able to get much use out of it. They're just pointing to the Echoed there. Has the Echoed got, does it do more than just negate?
Yeah, looks like it does more.
Let's have a little look and see.
Meanwhile, Jess is trying to find a
Oh, it
solution.
banishes. So, yeah, the
Yeah.
fusion is banished, so you're not going to be able to use that graveyard effect. Lots of nasty banishing going on here from the Malice deck.
Yeah, only 2 interactions right now for Sam, but those were great ones because not only he got rid of the Sleepy, but he also got rid of the fusion spell in the graveyard, which has a great effect. So Jessica is gonna have to find a solution right there. She's kind of in a labyrinth right now, and she's gonna have to break the field without the Sleepy, without the fusion in the graveyard, and she starts again with the Witch.
Yeah, and the Acheron also going to trigger to get back the Sleepy. But again, Sleepy has been hit with the Call by the Grave, so not so much you can do with it. Guess you could use it somehow as a fusion material, but Jess has used both of her ways to fusion summon, so she's going to struggle to get another fusion monster onto the field. Some Memento decks do run the Proxy F Magician, but that's quite an expensive way in terms of monsters you need on the field to summon it.
Absolutely, and the wrong thing for Jessica is that the Call by the Grave has an effect on both player turns. So next turn, she's not going to be able to activate the Sleepy as well, which is a big of a deal, to be honest.
Yeah, it looks like she's completely cut off from fusion summoning. I'm not see. Oh, I do see the proxy in her extra deck, but yeah, it's going to be quite tough. You need 4 monsters on the field to do that, 2 for the link materials and then 2 for the fusion materials, but she's still going to press on with this Memento. I guess you can also fusion summon with the sequence, probably a bit easier, but you can't get into your Memento fusions so easily that way.
Absolutely, she's going to go to the Finsmith stuff right now. We know that the Engraver is already in the graveyard, but she still has the Requiem to summon the Lacrima, probably.
Yeah, we see this. Do you like the Fiendsmith cards in Memento? What do you reckon?
I prefer it pure, to be honest. I prefer it without the Finsmith cards, but I think it's a pretty interesting approach to the build. We saw that Memento won with the Finsmith cards, but also without the Finsmith cards. The fact that you are able to play more engine and you are more focused on that and have more space in the extra deck to just answer different situations, I think this is better in the pure version. But of course, the Finsmith version is very interesting, and I think both versions are pretty fine.
Yeah, I love the extra like pushes that you get with the Fiendsmith cards. They allow you to use sort of any 2 monsters classically as Fiendsmith do. They also a bunch of fun fusions you can play that you can access with the Fiendsmith cards. The downside of them really is that you play into cards like John Lockbird that much more. You play into the Molcharmies that much more. And one of the big upsides of the Memento deck, at least just the Memento engine, is you can play through Molcharmies without too much, but you can't use really the Fiendsmiths if your opponent's used a Furlos or a Meows.
And that's a great problem, in my opinion. That's why I wouldn't play the Finsmith cards. But here, Jessica has not to face the Fuvalos. She just has to face a random Call by the Grave, which has done some work.
Yeah, Called by the Grave, a card that's been in and out of players' main decks and side decks and everything pretty much ever since it was released. And nowadays, it's strange to see it because there's a lot of very, very powerful combo decks. So having it in your main deck, you know, when it could possibly not be so strong, going second it seems to be very popular though. But I think its applicability against the Mitsurugi engine is probably just why everyone's putting it in their main decks. It's quite useful going second against that, even though it's probably not going to do enough going second against maybe Malice or Memento.
Yeah, totally. But the card is so good because people don't really play around it. It's at 1, and you know that there's not a lot of people who are going to play it in the main deck because, of course, you said it perfectly. It has some... I mean, this is not very reliable going second unless you're playing against Mitsurugi. But yeah, the fact that Mitsurugi is probably the most played deck is something really going for the Call by the Grave in the main deck, because you have the ability to just Call by the Grave the Murakumo or even the Futsu against them pure Mitsurugi players, and that is very, very good. But I think that having the card in your side is well, pretty strong, because you can have some going first cards like Call by the Grave, but also like Talent to protect your whole loop and then get things rolling, punish the opponent players. When he wants to interact with you, you have the ability to just punish that with a Call by the Grave or a Talent, and this is very strong, of course. We've all been hit by those cards, and and then we are wondering, what are we doing there?
Yeah.
But for now, she is going through the Desiree, which is a strong card.
That's not Desiree,
Oh,
that's a
that's not
Baphomet.
Desiree,
Yeah,
yeah.
you see sequence, you think Desiree, but no, enough of the Fiendsmiths were banished. Baphomet's one of the quite fun combo cards
Oh, yeah.
in Memento Fiendsmith in particular, because when you summon the Creation King from the extra deck, it then banishes itself. So as long as you summoned it properly and then banished it, then you have Baphomet in the grave, then you can just summon it again on your opponent's next turn. It's a lot of fun. Did that trap just get banished without being activated? I'm confused. Maybe he's not got... How many Malice cards does he run? There must be enough Malice cards that he's got more search targets. Did we miss a draw on Lockbird or something like that? No, Jessica's still going. She's been going for
Yeah, and
a while,
she
playing into
is
this
now
field.
sacrificing the SP little line to just get access to the Goblin. And that is one of the great additions to the deck a few months ago, like Goblin Biker cards. Some players have been playing the Goblin Bikers in the main deck to just get rid of the Ryzel cards, because of course they can detach materials from the XYZ.
Yeah, they're like custom built to deal with the Ryzeals. When your opponent's got their field, they've got their wonderful field, and you're like, oh, I guess I'll just activate this effect. When it resolves, it will detach, and then I'll search another card, and then I'll detach, and then I'll detach. I think Jessica's playing a few in the side deck, which is a side deck. It's so much fun. I really like it, having these cards in the side.
And here comes the Creation King. Combined Creation himself is going to get summoned to the field.
Yeah, and this is no joke. He can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each, as long as he's the only monster. And that's quite a big deal when you have like 5,000 attack.
Yeah, it actually is. I saw a lot of players just forget about that effect, and randomly they think that they stopped their opponent, and he gets on the field and ends the game. So we are going to go to battle phase and just get rid of all the monsters on Sam's side.
Red Ransom swaps the attack and defense, but it's not a problem because it's also got 5,000 defense, you know, as you do. I feel like this is like one of the largest monsters just in Yu-Gi-Oh's history. I don't know if there's any monsters that have like base attack and defense 5,000. Like there's a couple 5,000 attack, but I don't know if there's many with 5,000 attack and defense.
Yeah, he's actually really strong, and he can get rid of the whole field because, of course, he's able to attack all the from doing that. Both players are actually ready, and we are going to the game 2.
Here we are with Sam. Gonna go first with the Dormouse. Very classic starter for the Malice deck.
And we don't have Lancia on Jess' side. But we saw that even without interrupting her opponent, she was able to just break the field last game. So she might be able to do the same this time.
She got the full 9 Mulchamis, so could still have a Meows or a Fuelos in hand. Which, when you're playing lots of engines, that's the things you don't really want to see. Because you love it when your opponent interrupts you, you can keep going.
And you were right. Here is the Fuvalos just before Sam goes to the Link one. Probably a Lingoribo.
But with quite a strong hand, Sam can still do a fair amount without needing to summon from the extra deck. I remember seeing this, like, because the Malice just draws so many cards with the Chessy Cat, and Red Ransom does so much just by itself. Wow, he must be running really few Malice cards here if he's having to banish from the hand.
And there is the meows as well. Jess is running 9 Molchami cards, and they are here in the graveyard. It's going to be a tough spot for Sam because now he has to be aware that he's going to make his opponent draw a lot of cards. What can he do? What can he do? Do we stop playing? Do we keep playing?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of players in this situation, you just kind of go for that red ransom and then just pass on that. But Sam banishing the trap there from his hand is not ideal
Yeah.
sometimes. I wonder how easy it is for him to get to the red ransom.
And he decided he wants to keep playing. He is gonna summon probably the Splash Mage, or
Yeah, it's quite expensive here to summon the Splash Mage because Jeff's going to get
he's gonna get
one for the Furlos,
yeah,
another one for the
three
Meows.
rows. 3 rows right there. So it's gonna be a lot. And we know that the engine of Memento is really strong going second. Look at those cards.
Yeah, Jeff's just going to start with a hand of, I don't even know how many. They've drawn 2 each, so going to start with an 8-card hand at minimum, unless Sam decides to do more. I mean, at this point, maybe you just deck your opponent out, you know, like.
I think she's very happy with how things are going right now. Jessica is going to have a lot of cards to just break the field, and Sam is not going to have a lot of interruptions on his hand. So, yeah, tough situation for him.
I wonder if he's citing any sort of powerful traps that people use when they're going first, but I don't really see it. Oh, there is that different dimension ground. Maybe if he can have access to that, because he's playing thrust as well, so he's got a good few chances. Different dimension ground is absolutely insane against the Memento deck. They all need to go to the graveyard. And the Fiendsmith cards all need to go to the graveyard. There's not so much you can do if your opponent has the different dimension ground. It's a bit like Lancia to the Maliss deck, but we'll find out if he can access it.
Yeah, for now, he just added the quick spell, which is, of course, a great way to try to play under the Mulch armies. This is kind of a half board, half field.
Bit less than half.
Yeah, but is it going to be
A
enough?
mini field. But yeah, people like to call it the half board, don't they?
But, oh, and we have the Lancia right there. A bit late, but still.
It's kind of an interesting choice, because I feel like you'd almost just hold the Lancia, and then for turn 3, if anything goes wrong, then you always have it as a backup plan. But
Totally.
there is that sometimes, if all of your interactions are Mulch armies and your opponent just ignores them and just plays, maybe you can't beat them even with like 20 cards in hand if you don't have other non-engine, because you need to draw that other non-engine. So the Memento deck is running those droplets and sometimes super polys, and those are very scary if you're going to give your opponent a lot of cards though.
Absolutely, and Sam just has 3 cards in hand. 1 card is known, 1 set card. This is the quick spell, and Jess just has so many cards in hand. She is going to break the field, I can tell you that.
One of those cards is that Molchami Furlos. Maybe Sam not got so many cards to side in, going second.
And even the Perulia on Sam's turn, in case he just wants to summon the March Hare. And this is not the best normal summon, going into the Goblin right there, but it still is full combo.
It's funny to say that, isn't it? Not the best normal summon, just full combo. Yeah, I mean, the downside of the Goblin is that because you have the quick play spell, which gets the Goblin, and only the Goblin, then it means if you have that, that quick play spell becomes a lot less valuable, but Goblin is still more than enough by itself if your opponent doesn't have an interruption of some sort.
Yeah, and some players decide just to play 2 Goblins to just avoid that situation. But here we are going to be able to fuse with the Sleepy.
Yeah, we know Sam, looking at his hand, he just has the 1 quick play spell, so that's 1 effect negation. And other than that, pretty much nothing. So I think if that's your plan against an 8-card Memento hand, you're gonna struggle. Although just down to 7 since the other Perulia came into play.
And Jessica is going to be able to get access to 2 other cards right now because of the fusion. And we can see that she just used the combined creation right there. So she already has access to the boss monster in the graveyard, which is kind of a threat. We saw that in game 1.
Yeah, she's already got a big pile of Memento names in the grave, so even if the worst comes to the worst, there'll be a combined creation on the field, almost certainly.
So yeah, I wouldn't like to be in Sam's position right now. I think it's not a great position at all.
Yeah, this is the downside, I think, of splashing lots of engines into your deck. It's so much fun. It's so much fun if your opponent's going to interrupt you with things like impermanence, effect value, just like, aha, I'll use my Horus cards now. But when your opponent just says, I'm not going to stop you, but I'm going to draw a card every time you summon, it's less great to be looking at your hand of like Thunder Dragons and Horuses. Because again,
And
yeah, Horus summoning from the grave 2 more times, can't do that on Meows.
absolutely, and we saw that one of the set cards is the sarcophagus. So he had access to the Horus cards, but he decided not to use them, of course, because it would have been a lot of draws for Jessica. But at that point, I think that if you want to play against a full hand of, of Memento, maybe you just want to go all in,
All
and,
in.
and you just play the whole field.
Well,
What do
it's
you think
like
about that?
it's like a thought experiment, isn't it? Because you kind of know if your opponent has like 3 cards, that's very different to if your opponent has 5 cards, right? But is there what's the difference between 8 cards and 12 cards? I don't really know anymore because I'm just so unused to playing against people with 12 card hands. Because there is like an upper limit on the number of things you can do, right? You can normal summon. You can use like each deck has like a normal summon and then like 1 or 2 pushes. You know, kind of with Ryziel how they can get their monsters onto the field. With Memento, though, each of the quick play spells kind of offer something different. So for each one of those they have, plus the engraver, you're going to have to deal with like 4 or 5 or 6 pushes. So the more cards you give them, the more likely they are to draw each of those.
And we are going to have access to another draw here with the Necroquip Princess. What a card, what a card.
Yeah. And at some point you need to figure out how to like actually force your opponent to start using interruptions. Because it's quite fun having a lot of cards you just play, but it's also making you a bit suspicious when your opponent just doesn't do anything. You're just kind of like, can you use your interruptions now and then I can just play and feel
Totally.
happy?
But Sam is not using anything right now. We know that he has access to, to this quick spell, and he decided not to use it. Jessica is just going to go to the sequence. Maybe there's going to be an interruption right there. Yeah, he is going to use the Malice in the Mirror, and he is going to banish his Link 3, the Red Ransom, and of course, it's going to give him access to probably the White Rabbit. But we have to keep in mind that the trap card, the MTP07, is banished.
So yeah, Jessica just checking. And here we see the droplet. Gonna send that sequence before it resolves in order to get it off the field so where it can't be negated. So this is the classic trick of the Memento deck, which is if you try and target one of their cards for negation, they have so many different quick play spells, droplet even being a different one, to send it away, and then your, in this case,
dodging
Malice
the
in the
interaction.
Mirror, yeah, your Imperm, your Veiler, whatever, it's not going to resolve.
Yeah, and here, very bad spot to be in for Sam, because the Malice in the Mirror didn't accomplish anything. He didn't get access to the summon back of the Red Ransom, and it's going to be really hard for him. His only way to interact with Jess right now is only the March Hare in the hand, but it's just going to give Jessica more gas, because remember, she used the Perulia, so she's going to draw 1 more card if he does that. He might not have any choice, but...
Yeah, Jessica firmly in the driver's seat, about to fusion summon for the Creation King. And we're seeing this get banished. Maybe there was some discussion about whether it is supposed to get banished.
Oh yeah,
whether
it
Malice
is
in the
supposed to
Mirror.
get banished, yeah, of course, because Malice in the Mirror just banishes the card and then negates the card in the opponent's field. So here, Sam is going to get access to Link 3 Revive, and he is going to banish a monster.
Yeah, it does quite a lot. The Red Ransom is just like so much like gas just by itself, isn't it? Because you get the search of a spell. He may have used all his spells anyway. It doesn't look like he's banishing from the deck. He must be running a very, very light Malice engine, because we've seen 2 games in a row him just like running out of Malice cards in the deck that he wants to search.
Which is not a great situation, to be honest, because you always want to get your engine rolling and just get turnover of everything. And here we see that he just lacks some engine. So here we have kind of a discussion between Jessica and the judge. Maybe we have just a quick question.
Yeah, I
But
think,
yeah.
yeah, probably just going over the finer points of the ruling. I'm not entirely sure. So they're just having a discussion. It's one of the great things about the feature match is you have someone on hand to make sure you're playing correctly. Because I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh is like a very complicated game. There's a lot of different texts that you might slightly get not quite right. So it's nice to make sure you have some professionals, on hand, making sure everything's going correctly. I think they're just checking maybe the rulings being appealed, because I think I just saw a head judge sneaking into the feature match area.
Yeah, well, basically, Malice in the Mirror works in the way that you have to do things in sequence. So first, you have to target forecast, of course, and then on resolution, you are going to banish the card that you control, I mean the Malice card, or in the hand, and then if you do that, you have the ability to negate the opponent's monster. It doesn't work the other way around. So even if the target disappears, then you are still able to banish. It will not negate anything, but you will be able to get your engine in the banished
That makes sense.
banish,
Yeah.
basically.
I just got, when you said Malice and the Mirror works in sequence and it was negating sequence, I was just like, whoa,
Oh
yeah.
I didn't think about that
You're
one, but
going. It works in sequence, it works on sequence. It does everything.
so yeah, still we are getting back to that point, I guess.
So it looks like the Red Ransom is going to get banished. I think maybe that was just the full judge appeal. And then Red Ransom will be able to pay summon back and then maybe get access to another Malice card. There we see that beautiful Thunder Dragon Hawk. Sadly never
Yeah.
made it onto the
Oh.
field.
And we can see in the deck the different dimension ground, which is such a card against Memento. But Sam didn't have a chance to see it in his hand. Neither did he see the thrust.
And are there any trap cards to target with the rabbit? I guess not.
So yeah, this is a very difficult situation because, of course, obviously, she's going to be able to just summon back the combined creation
Yeah,
plus the DSRA, and yeah, it's gonna be more than enough to end the game on the spot.
yeah, Combined Creation, one of the most powerful cards. Yeah, just sending, not Combined, I mean, Combined Creation is powerful, but the Creation King, unbelievable, like, couple of effects on it. Sending 3 Mementos from deck to grave, like, that's a big number.
I mean, that's totally custom. Like, what a card! What a card! You literally can send 3 cards. Then it has an effect in graveyard because you can banish itself to get access to the field spell, and it has a disruption effect because you can just destroy cards on the opponent's field, which is absolutely amazing. And of course, if you have to try to interrupt something, this is a great spot to interrupt. The good thing is you cannot do both effects in the same chain. So you cannot just try to send from the deck or extra deck to the graveyard and use the effect to destroy, which is important and matters because if you chain impermanence on the fusion, then he cannot just destroy itself and the impermanence to try to dodge that.
Yeah, it was a bit of foresight on the card text because that would have been an extremely powerful thing to do. Just make it impossible to stop the effect to send 3. But it looks like the effect to send 3 is going to resolve nonetheless. Almost.
Yeah, Sam doesn't have a lot of answers to that, and Jessica is just a matter of time, right? Before she finds the solution to just end the game.
Yeah, I mean, even now, I think the just summoning Creation King would probably... I keep getting the names the wrong way around. It is Creation King, yeah, but not going to do that just yet. Just going to toy with her food a bit more.
Yeah, here we are going to destroy the Creation King and get access to the Bone Party. Bone Party, which is very good to try to end the game because it gives piercing damages to the combined creation, as you said earlier.
Well, who needs piercing damage when you can just attack directly?
Yeah.
Akiron's effect there allowing level 9 or higher mementos to attack directly this turn, which when one of them has 5,000 attack is quite important, I'd say.
She has all the tools needed to just get the victory over here, which would make her be 2-0 in this tournament. So of course, there are still a lot of rounds, but it's always important to start with some victories. Gives you confidence, and you kind of want to, get the first loss later as possible.
Yeah, Jess really not the kind of person you want to run into early on. Very successful player. Made it all the way to the finals of the National Championships last year and won the European Championships the year before that. So quite a lot of accolades under her belt.
When I think about Jessica, I always remember the time when she literally drew the Harpy Fest Duster. And what a game it was. Like, it was the shortest game of all time, literally. But what a game. Literally the heart of the cards.
Yeah, it was in one of those very strange games in the top 4 of the European Championships when you're kind of, everyone's very excited that they're through to the World Championships, but you still have to play it out to see who actually wins the European Championships. So she still had to go through and take home that title, as well as getting to go to the World Championships as well.
Yeah, and she is just, she just keeps comboing. She got back the fusion spell, and now she's probably gonna seal the deal.
The only thing that Memento is lacking sometimes as a deck is effect negation, which can be a little bit tricky when you can keep going, but if your opponent just sort of has something like a Nibiru, which I mean unfortunately for Sam he doesn't, but there's no time really you can ever put up something like, with the exception of Caesar, which is quite a lot of faff to go into, and you don't really want to make it when you're going second. Like, you can't really ever make a field that's your opponent can't Nibiru, so you have to make sure you have enough gas in the tank to use it. So here we are. Maybe this is just a bit of insulation against the Nibiru. That's one way of playing around it. SP Little Knight. You definitely don't want to banish with SP Little Knight because that would prevent you from attacking directly this turn. And I think with that piercing damage,
It is going to be game,
quite
yeah.
a lot of damage going
Because
through.
White Rabbit only has 300 defense.
Do we still have maybe a March Hare, though? Is March Hare a main phase? You can use March
It's
Hare.
only main phase,
it's only
yeah.
in main phase,
Cannot
okay.
choose that, so it's gonna be game here. It's gonna be game for Jessica.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of an exchange right there. They are talking about some stuff, but I think, yeah, it's gonna be it. Jessica wins